Recording in progress.
Hare Krishna, everyone. Thank you for joining this morning. Bhagavad class and attentive japa. We'll make a start. And we have been talking about Rsabhadeva, is the personality of Supreme Personality of God Himself. And now we're going to just discuss his teachings to his sons as part 2, because he advised his sons quite elaborately. And last week we were discussing how he told his sons not to focus too much on sense gratification, not to endeavor too much for earning, and don't be too attached to the opposite gender. Thing like this is like, as we were saying, that normally our parents, advises nowadays otherwise, saying, work hard, make lots of money, make sure you do well, etc., get married, everything, everything that the Supreme Personality God is saying, is opposite is said in today's society. So let's continue on from there to see what else Lord Rsabhadeva has to say to his sons. So he says, as I have advised you, my dear sons, you should act accordingly, be very careful. By these means, you'll be freed from the ignorance of the desire for fruity activity. So he's still stressing on the fruity activity, and the knot of bondage in the heart will be completely severed. For further advancement, you should also give up the means. That is, you should not become attached to the process of liberation itself. So he's telling them that be detached from everything, from fruity activity and the process of liberation, if that's for you, like sense gratification. Because we want selfless service, not any kind of gratification for yourself. If one is serious about going back home, back to Godhead, he must consider the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the summum bonum and chief aim of life. If he is a father instructing his sons, a spiritual master instructing his disciples, or a king instructing his citizens, he must instruct them as I have advised. Without being angry, he should continue giving instructions, even if his disciples, son, or citizen is sometimes unable to follow his order. So you have to be patient, whoever you're advising, whether your family, friends, your mentees, saying that you have to be patient with them, give them time. They will come around sooner or later. Give them time to absorb, try to understand, try to purify. Because until you're purified, you can't understand. We cannot expect people to understand things because they're on their journey, and their purification level might not be high enough to understand these things. Because until you're purified, you cannot make heads and tails of this knowledge, right? So you have to give them time. They should always avoid fruity activity. If one puts into the bondage of karmic activity his disciple, son, or citizen who is bereft of transcendental vision, how will one profit? It is like leading a blind man to a dark well and causing him to fall in. So let's pray. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukham Kroti Vachalam Pangum Lagate Gurim Yat Kirpata Hundashi Gurundi Dharanam Brahmananda Madhvam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Hari Yom Tassat Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Nityam Bhagavad Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtaki. Hare Krishna. So, due to ignorance, the materialistic person doesn't know anything about his real self-interest. The auspicious path in life, he is simply bound to material enjoyment by lusty desires, and all his plans are made for this purpose, for temporary self gratification. Such a person creates a society of envy, And due to this mentality, he plunges into the ocean of suffering. Such a foolish person does not even know about this. If someone is ignorant and addicted to the path of samsara, how can one who is actually learned, merciful, and advanced spiritual knowledge engage him in fruit activity and thus further entangle him in material existence? If a blind man is walking down the wrong path, how can a gentleman allow him to continue on his way to danger? How can he approve his method? No wise or kind man can allow this. So a person in knowledge can see what this other person who's ignorant is doing, and you have to have compassion for these people and help them, even though they might not understand, what you're trying to tell them, or feel that you are agitating them, but you still, in the nicest way, you have to try and make them understand. I was hearing a story. I think Radharani was telling me that this wife, she was pleading to her husband to become a devotee. She had found Krishna and she was telling him that please try this. This is really good and it will change your life. This is the goal of life. He didn't want to know, but she kept persisting. And then eventually one day he hit her and she was bleeding, but she still stayed calm, and she pleaded to him, now please, you can hit me, but please you try this method. And he was like overcome, he thought, oh my God, this is so important to her that she wants me to try this, that she's happy to be beaten. So he tried and he became a great devotee in the end. So this knowledge, we have to submit to it. You have to surrender to it. And only then you can understand it. One who cannot deliver his dependence from the path of repeated birth and death should never become a spiritual master, a father, a husband, a mother, or a worshipful demigod. There are many spiritual masters, but Rsabhadeva advises that one should not become a spiritual master if he is unable to save his disciple on the path of birth and death. Unless one is a pure devotee of Krishna, he cannot save himself from the path of repeated birth and death. Tektavadeham puna janma neti mam eti so Arjuna. One can stop birth and death only by returning home, back to Godhead. However, who can go back to Godhead unless he understands the Supreme Lord in truth? Janma karma chame devyam evam yoveti tatvatha. We have many instances in history illustrating Rshabhadeva's instructions. Shukracharya was rejected by Bali Maharaj due to his inability to save Bali Maharaj from the path of repeated birth and death. So Bali Maharaj was learned. He knew whatever his spiritual master is advising him is not conducive to his bhakti or his goal of finding God, finding Narayan. So he rejected him. Shukracharya was not a pure devotee. He was more or less inclined to fruity activity. And he objected when Bali Maharaj promised to give everything to Lord Vishnu. Actually, one is supposed to give everything to the Lord because everything belongs to the Lord. Consequently, the Supreme Lord advises, Yat Kroshi Yadasnashi, Yaj Juhusi Dadasi Yat Tapas Yasi Kunteya, Tat Kuruswat Mad Arpanam. O son of Kunti, all that you do, all that you eat, all that you offer and give away, as well as all austerities that you may perform, should be done as an offering unto me. This is bhakti. Unless one is devoted, he cannot give everything to the Supreme Lord. Unless one can do so, he cannot become a spiritual master, husband, father, or mother. So everybody is included in there. Everybody is the spiritual master. Right? Husband is a spiritual master, father is a spiritual master, mother is a spiritual master. Everybody is a spiritual master. In this case, brother spiritual master, because father spiritual master, Rshabhadeva said to his sons, his 100 sons, that your brother Bharat is your spiritual master. You listen to what he says. Similarly, the wives of the Brahmins who were performing sacrifices gave up their relatives just to satisfy Krishna. This is an example of a wife rejecting a husband who cannot deliver her from the impending dangers of birth and death. Similarly, Prahlad Maharaj rejected his father and Bharat Maharaj rejected his mother. The word Devam indicates a demigod or one who accepts worship from a dependent. Ordinarily, the spiritual master, husband, father, mother, superior relative accepts worship from an inferior relative. But here, Rsabhadeva forbids this. First, the father, spiritual master, or husband must be able to release the dependent from repeated birth and death. So, we show respect and gratitude to our elders and spiritual masters if they are capable of releasing us from this birth and death. That should be the quality. That should be the utmost quality they should have. If he cannot do this, he plunges himself into the ocean of reproachment for his unlawful activities. Everyone should be very responsible and take charge of his dependents, just as a spiritual master takes charge of his disciple, or a father takes charge of his son. All these responsibilities cannot be discharged honestly unless one can save the dependent from repeated birth and death. So, if these people cannot do this, then they are being irresponsible. They will fall into the well themselves and will take their relatives with them. And then Lord Rsabhadeva continues, my transcendental body, Satchit Anand Vigraha, looks exactly like a human form, but it is not a material human body. It is inconceivable. I am not forced by nature to accept a particular type of body. I take on a body by my own sweet will. My heart is also spiritual, and I always think of the welfare of my devotees. Therefore, within my heart can be found the process of devotional service, which is meant for the devotees. Far from my heart have I abandoned irreligion, adharma, and non-devotional activities. They do not appeal to me. Due to all these transcendental qualities, people generally pray to me as Rsabhadeva, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the best of all living entities. So Srila Prabhupada explains that unintelligent people think that the Supreme Lord accepts a body composed of the material energy. We can easily understand the material body, but we cannot understand the spiritual body. Now, this is the thing. We understand material things, but when it comes to spiritual things, we have no knowledge because we cannot understand spiritual things with our material thinking. We cannot define them. We cannot, evaluate them. They have been done from the scriptures. In the spiritual world, everyone has a spiritual body. There is no conception of material existence there. In the spiritual world, there is only service and receiving of service. There is only sevya, seva, and sevak. So that's the only language, that is the only portfolio people have in the spiritual world, sevya, seva, and sevak. So the servant, the served, and the service itself. The person served, the process of service, and the servant. These three items are completely spiritual, and therefore the spiritual world is called absolute. There is no tinge of material contamination there. Being completely transcendental to the material conception, Lord Rsabhadeva states that his heart is composed of dharma. Mataji, you can hear you. Dharma is explained in Bhagavad-Gita, Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. In the spiritual world, every living entity is surrendered to the Supreme Lord and is completely on the spiritual platform. Although there are servitors, the served and service, all are spiritual and variegated. At the present moment, due to the material conception, everything is durvi bhavya, inconceivable. Being the supreme, the Lord is called Vishabha, the best. In terms of Vedic language, nityo nityanam, we are all spiritual, but we are subordinate. Krishna, the Supreme Lord, is the foremost living entity. The word Vishwa means the chief or the supreme and indicates the supreme being or God himself. So although we are similar to God in quality, it's reminded us that we are not same as him in quantity. We are very minute, where he is unlimited. So Rishabdev continues, my dear boys, you are all born of my heart, which is the seat of all spiritual qualities. Therefore, you should not be like materialistic and envious men. You should accept your eldest brother Bharat, who is exalted in devotion service. If you engage yourself in Bharat's service, your service to him will include my service, and you will rule the citizens automatically. So, if you serve a spiritual master, he's a representative, so you're serving God himself by serving the genuine spiritual master. So now Rishabdev mentioned that you're born of my heart. Now Prabhupada explains what that means. According to the Vedic system, when one begets a child, his heart should be purified through the ritualistic ceremony known as Garbhadan. Rishabdev's heart was always uncontaminated and spiritual. Consequently, all the sons from the heart of Rishabdev were spiritually inclined. Nonetheless, Rishabdev suggested that his elder son was superior, and he advised the others to serve him. All the brothers of Bharat Maharaj were advised by Rishabdev to adhere to Bharat's service. The question may be asked, why one should be attached to family members? For in the beginning, it was advised that one should not be attached to home and family. However, it is also advised that one has to serve the Mahiyan, one who is very spiritually advanced. By serving the exalted devotee, one's path for liberation is open. The family of Rishabdev should not be compared to an ordinary materialistic family. Bharat Maharaj, Rishabdev's eldest son, was specifically very exalted. For this reason, the other sons were advised to serve him for his pleasure. That was to be their duty. So it's not they're serving any ordinary brother or just because he's the elder brother. They're serving him because he's exalted devotee, and he will help them to cross this samsara. The Supreme Lord was advising Bharat Maharaj to be the chief ruler of the planet. This is the real plan of the Supreme Lord. In the Battle of Kurukshetra, when we find that Lord Krishna wanted Maharaj Yudhishthira to be the Supreme Emperor of this planet, he never wanted Duryodhana to take the post. As stated in the previous verse, Lord Shivadev's heart is Hirdayam Yatra Dharma. The characteristics Dharma is also explained in Bhagavad-Gita. Surrender unto me, surrender unto the Supreme Person of Godhead. To protect Dharma, Pritranaya Sadhunam. The Lord always wants a ruler of the earth to be a devotee. Then everything goes on nicely for the benefit of everyone. As soon as a demon rules the earth, everything becomes chaotic. At the present moment, the world is inclined towards a democratic process, but the people in general are all contaminated by the modes of passion and ignorance. Consequently, they cannot select the right person to head the government. The president is selected by the votes of ignorant Shudras. Therefore, another Shudra is elected. So you're going to elect someone according to your own desires and requirements. So you will obviously select somebody who will promise you those things, right? So a Shudra is electing a Shudra, and they're happy to elect a Shudra because he's going to fulfill all their passion and ignorance desires. And immediately the entire government becomes polluted. If people strictly followed the principle of Bhagavad-Gita, they would elect a person who is the Lord's devotee. So like a Raj Rishi has been done in the past, then automatically there would be good government. Rsabhadeva therefore recommended Bharat Maharaj as the emperor of this planet. Serving a devotee means serving the Supreme Lord. For a devotee always represents the Lord. When a devotee is in charge, the government is always congenial and beneficial for everyone. So finally, Rsabhadeva says, my dear sons, you should not envy any living entity, be he moving or non-moving. Knowing that I am situated in them, you should offer respect to all of them at every moment. In this way, you offer respect to me. So we are worshipping. When we show respect to others, we are respecting the Paramatma in the heart. Everybody has Paramatma in the heart. Even the animals have Paramatma in the heart. And we are giving respect to the Paramatma. When we think like that, then it's not so difficult. Otherwise, if we go on the bodily platform, we're thinking, why should I, show respect to this person? He's like this, he's like this, he looks like this. Anything can come to your mind, or an animal. Why should I respect the animal? He's ignorant. So, but when you think Paramatma is same in everyone, same in our heart, then it makes it much easier to respect others. The Lord is situated in this universe as Garbhodakshay Vishnu and Kshirodakshay Vishnu. He is also situated within every atom. According to the Vedic statement, Ishvasyam Idam Sarvam, the Supreme Lord is situated everywhere, and wherever he is situated is his temple. That's how you have to see everything. The true activity of the sense organs, mind, sight, words, and all the knowledge gathering, all working senses, is to engage fully in my service. Unless his senses are thus engaged, a living entity cannot think of getting out of the great entanglement of material existence, which is exactly like Yamaraj's stringent rope. So this is the conclusion of Bhakti. All the time, Lord Rsabhadeva has been stressing devotional service. He's been telling his sons that don't focus too much on material attachment, on fruitive activity. Please aim for devotional service and rule the citizens in that way, serve them. And now he's concluding by saying that all the senses should be engaged in the Lord's service. There are 5 senses by which we gather knowledge and 5 senses with which we work. These 10 senses and the mind should be fully engaged in the Lord's service. Without engaging them in this way, one cannot get out of the clutches of Maya. Amazing. So thank you all so much. So Rsabhadeva has focused on his 100 sons, explained to them that don't be attached to material activity or material benefits. Your goal is to head towards get out of this cycle of birth and death and help your citizens as well. Like a father, like I'm advising you, your citizens will also be your children. So you help them. Otherwise, you're not worthy of being a father or a king or a mother unless you can help your people who are below you. You can help them, then you are worthy of your position. And then you are worthy of the respect from those people. Otherwise, you're not worthy of that respect because you cannot show them the way. You're like a blind man yourself and blind leading the blind. So thank you all so much. We have Gita, we have Jai Prabhu, Praveen Mataji, Pundrikaksh Prabhu, and Sarveshri Mataji. I think Venkat Prabhu was there earlier on. Thank you, Prabhu, for joining. Would love to get your opinions. Pri Mataji, I know you will have to leave earlier, so we'll let you chant first later on. Thank you. Okay, so we'll start with Praveen Mataji. Please share.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, sorry, I am working along and I just didn't want to miss the class. But it's very nice. So the point that stuck in my head was serving the Vaishnavas, the representatives of Krishna, is serving Krishna himself. So I'm feeling very fortunate that we'll be able to serve when Keshav Maharaj is coming. So with your blessings, I hope everything will go well. So if any inconveniences, please, I want to apologize now. And yeah, thank you so much. And the importance of devotional service, it's very nice. Thank you. But I've been just baking cookies and doing all sorts of things. I don't know whether you could hear me when I was talking. So sorry. It was on mute, but I don't know how. So yeah, it was muted.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't when I started. It wasn't.
Oh, maybe you muted me then. Oh gosh, because my brain, because I locked myself out. Sorry, I'm just distracting now because there's so much. I'm trying to get everything sorted because there's nothing in the house. So I'm packing. So yeah, I'll do the chanting. Yeah, later when it's time. Yeah, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you. So please, everybody, love to see everybody there. So yeah, see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.
Okay. Pundikaksh Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. There is such a nice class. This one, so many instructions, not one. It's very hard to remember all these instructions unless we follow them, I think. I was reading Bhagavad-Gita chapter 6 yesterday, so where it is mentioned about the hierarchy of intelligence, mind, and senses, sense objects, and the soul. So mind is in between the intelligence and the senses. So mind, if you don't have right intelligence, then it can take you to sense objects, and then you fall down and get engaged in this ocean of birth and death. But if the intelligence is right, then you can go to the super soul. So mind is in between. With the right intelligence, it can either take you to the super soul or to the sense objects, and put you in the entanglement of birth and death. And very nice instruction from this text that how we should actually be an ideal father as well. So how can first we develop that knowledge, we develop right consciousness, then we can help our children as well to get into right consciousness. And I mean, this is very interesting topic of Sukracharya and Bali Maharaj.
Yeah.
I think like we can take two instructions from this, two different instructions, which are like controversy like that. So when you say in a Guru disciple course, of in what situation you can reject a spiritual master, we can reject a spiritual master if he is not following the scriptures or taking us towards the Supreme Lord. So Sukracharya is actually, I heard this from some other Prabhu earlier, that Sukracharya was actually stopping him to go towards the Lord. So in which case Bali Maharaj actually rejected his instructions that time. So in that way it looks nice, but if you are not actually inclined to listen to your spiritual master, then you will see your end result may not be good as well. So I feel like there are two instructions here. In which case you can reject a spiritual master if he's not taking you, or in which case, in a case when you're not following spiritual master, what will the end result? And serving the devotees is like serving the Supreme Lord. So that is that is more important. That's all, Prabhuji, for me.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. It's a big decision to make when you don't listen to your spiritual master, you reject him. That's a very big decision. And Bali Maharaj had to make that decision very quickly. He had to make it on his feet. I don't think he had time to think about it, right? He quickly made that decision, and it was the right one, isn't it? It was the right decision to make. So he was very exalted. Bali Maharaj is one of the Mahajans, is he?
Yes,
he's so he's one of the he's a Mahajan. You can think. Well, we would need like a few weeks to work it out. What should we do? But he instantly, because he was like convinced that no, anything that takes you away from the Lord is wrong, wherever it's coming from. Doesn't matter if your spiritual master, your father, your mother, anybody is taking you away from Krishna, is to be rejected. Dharma can be rejected if it's taking away. It's the higher principle. The highest principle is that it should be heading towards God. And if anything, even your dharma, anything is taking you away from that, you can reject those people. It's mentioned by Prabhupada that if your parents are taking you away from Krishna, then you can reject them. Just simple as that. Because we're all on our journey. We're all spirit souls. We're on a journey, and our journey involves going back home. Otherwise we'll keep having this journey again and again. The main thing is parents, everyone, we have to respect them. On other counts, we have to respect them, but you have to remember that this is all temporary. Now we are just like sticks in the river. We come together, and then we go apart. Like with the wave, next wave, we are apart again, and then sticks come and they come. So all these births, we have been coming together with people, and then we go apart. Each one dies, and then we birth the new family. It's going on and on. It's like Chitraketu's son. He said, which mother are you? Because I've had so many fathers and mothers. Which mother and father are you referring to? So, fathers, mothers, everyone, wealth, it all comes and all goes. So fleeting material assets, they come and they go. But there's only one truth, and that's the God himself. He's always same. Other things are coming and going, changing. And this is knowledge. Knowledge helps you to detach from things. It helps you in time of when your loved one passes away, your mother, your father passes away. This knowledge stays strong, keeps you strong. That this is all temporary. This is how things happen. It happens to parents are gone, we will also go, and this is a cycle, and you have to accept it, and we cannot hold on to it. So it's good. Thank you so much, Pundikaksh Prabhu.
More point, Prabhuji. If the time permits, can I add one more point?
Yes, sure, Prabhu.
You mentioned that one should develop the knowledge and help the other people as well. Be compassionate. So, in one of the class of Keshav Maharaj, one person asked that I am not able to convince my family members on these spiritualities. How can I do that then? So Maharaj, in a nutshell, he explained that first you develop the relationship with them. The relationship be so effective that they are ready to take anything from you, and then you start giving this instruction. Then they can come to spirituality. So I was listening to when I was thinking, like, when we do book distribution, how much time we really have to develop that connection with a person going on the road. We don't have even a minute time there. So probably our preparation should be so good that we should make some questions in such a way ready, so that we can gauge that person in that particular second, and then maybe we can help them. That's what I thought, Ramesh.
Thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, and also, purity is the force. If you're pure, you have a real conviction of what you're doing, what you're saying, then the person, you can pick up when somebody's speaking, you can pick up this person, whether they're genuine or not, or what they're saying is coming from the heart, or they're just trying to sell me something. If it's come from the heart and it makes sense, people will try it. Say, okay, what's the harm? I will have a look at this, and because it seems to make sense, and this person is very assuring of this. So yeah, on the street it is difficult, but this is where our chanting and our conviction helps us, because whatever we have in the heart, we can reflect onto the other person. It rubs off, our conviction and our purity rubs off on the other person, and they are happy to try. And also, like Prabhupada says, that we have to be the instrument. The people out there waiting for books, you are instrument to help them, right? So when you go out there, you do it as a service, and you let Krishna take care of the rest. So it's like that as well. So one is you're pure, and you have conviction in your service, and other is people sometimes are ready, they're actually looking for something, and you are the instrument that provides that. This is what I think.
Connecting points sometimes.
The connection, yeah.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji. That's very nice point.
Thank you, brother. Yeah. Surashya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, everybody.
Hare Krishna.
There's a lot of things to learn from Rsabhadeva. He's teaching his sons, so he's teaching us as well. And Rsabhadeva, he was a pure Vaishnava. He wanted his sons to be pure Vaishnavas. And he saw others like his subjects suffering as his own suffering. And then he tried to bring them to Krishna consciousness. And then I was asking subjects to do the sacrifice, and the sacrifices should be done just to please Krishna and to satisfy Krishna, not for their own material benefit. But people mostly in this age of Kali Yuga, they do these sacrifices for their own benefit. And this material enjoyment you can get in any species, even the animals, they enjoy that they're suffering, but they think they are enjoying. But we should try to have spiritual enjoyment, and spiritual enjoyment is by doing devotion service to Krishna. And you can do the same activities like we cook for Krishna. We want to hear music. We have to listen to Krishna music. So this is a spiritual advancement. And Rshabhadeva was a spiritual master and the father. I mean, you have to be when you are father, you have to be like a spiritual mother. The father tells children, bring them to Krishna consciousness. So those who actually, I was reading in the Bhagavatam, this is from the Bhagavad-Gita, those who actually desire the highest perfection of going back to Godhead, one cannot achieve liberation directly worshiping the Supreme Lord. One can very easily achieve the perfection of life simply by moments of association with the pure devotee of the Krishna, and he can take you to the Supreme Lord. Example is for us here in this Krishna consciousness. I mean, we get initiated, and that means why we get initiated, the spiritual master. I mean, Krishna gives everything. He makes rules and regulations, but he is a bona fide spiritual master. He tells us it's a duty of a spiritual master to take us to Krishna. We can't go direct to Krishna when we pray, like we pray through our spiritual master. That way, before our classes, we glorify our spiritual master, and so he can help us in taking us to Krishna. So it's very important to pray to spiritual master, ask him help to take us to Krishna, because we are not that qualified to go to Krishna. So this is Rshabhadeva, same thing he's telling his children, sons, that he says sons will go to Krishna through his father, through his spiritual master. So it's very spiritual master is very important in your life, when you should save spiritual master. No, we can't get a station. He said we can do with Vani or Bapu. And so we can save the spiritual master either way. We get the opportunity. And this the devotional service in whole Bhagavad-Gita, in whole Bhagavatam, it just teaches about devotional service. That's the only way you can go to Godhead and get out of this material world. So that's what Rshabhadeva was telling his sons, just to satisfy Krishna, do everything for Krishna. Then, and we should do it as well. So that's how we learn, by the mercy of these pure devotees. They're telling them, so we get the benefit as well. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mata. Yes, we are blessed to have exalted devotees to guide us, because all the mercy comes to the devotees, and yeah, in ISKCON we have so many, so it's very good. Yes, Radharani, you say?
Yes, Hare Krishna, everyone. Happy Dhanteras to all of you. Today is the event of Dhanteras, Lord Dhanvantari, who was a partial expansion of Vishnu, and as we know, he's the starter of Ayurveda. Also, the Samudra Manthan happened today when Lakshmi Devi Ji, she appeared from the ocean, and no wonder we start Lakshmi Puja from today, and it goes on till Diwali, and then more festivals to come next week. All the points today were so wonderful today in the class. I really liked the thing, first of all, that we should respect everyone, moving, non-moving. No wonder that in Bhagavad-Gita, Krishna tells us clearly that among the mountains, I'm Himalaya. Among the seasons, I am this. And, you know, that makes the point so clear that Krishna is part of everything. So we have to respect even the material side as well. The matter is also Krishna's energy. And also the second point I really liked was that we shouldn't be even thinking of becoming parents if we are not going to take our children back home, back to Godhead, not just to our material home, I mean the Godhead, to the spiritual world. And this is so important. And like Punditikaksh Prabhu was saying about not being able to develop a relationship when out on the streets. But they are, the Harinam team and the book distribution team, they are like the touchstones. They are actually getting the people who would have, God knows, taken more time to hear about Krishna or to even know about Krishna just by looking at the books, just by talking to them for sometimes for 15 minutes or even 5 minutes. That can change their life. And many of us, we came through into the Krishna consciousness like this, just passing by and just looking at the Harinam and wondering how come they are so blissful. I've done that myself, looked at the Rath Yatra in the city center and thought how wonderful, how blissful these people are. And this is how sometimes we come, and somebody just gave us the Bhagavad-Gita, and I didn't touch it for many, many years. And when we touched it, we understood that we had been given the gem, but when the time is right, that person, they will come into the Krishna consciousness. No, this is tried and tested formula. And also the point that of the Mahajans, amazing that Bhagavatam is full with so many testimonies. Krishna has given all sorts of examples. So if our heart is into one liking, they will understand one example. If we like something else, there's another example, starting from a little child to exalted kings, how they dedicated their lives for the worship of the Lord and how they turned around the lives of the dependents within their community or in their kingdom or in their families. And that's it. I think it's brilliant to hear the class today, and thank you all for your association. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Radharani. Yeah, the Paramatma in the heart, when you're ready, he will probably send the voice, tell you that go and take this book. Or even we find with regards to book distribution, we see like so many people coming towards us, and we try and pick somebody who looks right.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I think then again the Paramatma in our heart says, go to that person.
Yeah,
They will take it. Go to them. I'm sure Punditikaksh Prabhu would agree with that. I think yes, that person will take the book. And sometimes it does become true. Yes, that person will take the book. The Paramatma is telling you, yes, that's the person you have to approach today.
Yeah, sometimes they are shy to approach you, and we have to be very, very gentle, like for example, there's some stranger, and how would you approach them? And if we were in their shoes, and if somebody was approaching us, what kind of language, what kind of body? And Punditikaksh Prabhu is the perfect person to be out there, I would say. He has got no ego whatsoever. He is so wonderful devotee. He will serve you with such a smile, and his whole family, because he has actually taught them all. He's a perfect example. I was thinking, wow, he can be quoted as an example in all these respects. I don't want any of my words to go to Prabhu's head, because I'm telling the truth. It is what it is. Prabhu is how he is. He's not pretending. He is how he is. is brilliant. We learn so much from devotees like him when we have association of such devotees among the congregation.
Hare Krishna.
Stay like this, Prabhu. Never change.